Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to hang out with me a little bit and check the video out. And guys, one of the things that I really love about doing the YouTube videos is I get a lot of you guys, a lot of my subscribers and people that watch my videos, they send me clips about stuff that's going on in the fishing industry that I may or may not know about, but I get a lot of different little tidbits and clips and, information from people out there. That's how I do a lot of the videos that I have. And I got a video passed along to me a couple days ago by 3 or 4 of my different subscribers. It was actually on TikTok. I don't get on TikTok hardly at all. And it was put up by, I think, one of the TikTok accounts called the Bass Cast. And it was a video that was done by, I think it was a tournament angler named Craig Johnson. And guys, this is a freaking reality check. You guys I'm going to include this clip in the video here just in a second. I want you guys to watch this video clip that the Basscast put out by Craig Johnson here. This dude nailed it, man. It's like you guys hear me talking about a lot of stuff within the fishing industry, but it's really, really refreshing to hear somebody with an outside perspective that shares, not only my point of view, but a lot of people's point of view out there. So this is well worth watching. So we're going to get into it here just in a second. Also, guys, before we get started, just a big thank you out there. Thank you very much, everybody, for the continued support of Intuitive Angling here, man. All of you guys that have stepped up and taken advantage of my links I put in the video descriptions. If you're getting your tackle through Tackle Warehouse on my link, or you're subscribing to the channel, or whatever avenues we have, thank you very much for me and my family. Really appreciate that, including everybody that's taken time to hit that subscribe button here to the channel. Okay guys, I'm going to play this clip right now. Let's check it out here, and then I'm going to come back with a little commentary. So here we go.
Y'all ain't going to agree with it, but I keep seeing videos about young up and coming phenoms in the sport and in live scope and the bass fishing industry and the viewership between all the major tours. All of those problems can be pretty much summed up into one thing, and that's that the bass fishing world sells 99.9% of guys a shitty pipe dream so that they can continue selling baits, boats, and rods. And a lot of y'all are like, man, what are you talking about? The more somebody finds out about the fishing industry, the less they like it, unless you benefit from the fishing industry. You want to start off with the young up and coming phenoms. They're not phenoms at all. They're guys that were part of a perfect storm. All right. If COVID-19 and live scope don't happen, this ain't even a conversation. We're not even talking about this, because when COVID hit, a lot of these real young cats started virtual or homeschooling and just fished every day. And then they had the money behind them to make sure they were in the boat, had gas to put in the boat, all that other shit. Had a network around them of people that knew fishing, and a network to help them get sponsorships. Because 2 years ago, all you heard was you better have a social media presence. If you're going to do anything in the fishing world, you better have a big social media presence. Can y'all tell me who on tour that has made it on tour the past couple of years has a huge social media presence? I'll wait. And before you say Ben Milliken, when I say you need time, money, and effort, and a whole shit ton of it, don't forget that Ben Milliken spent like 15 years on YouTube making his brand and making it to where he had enough money that he wouldn't hurt himself to try to make it on tour. All right, he's one, and that's it. And he was a different one because he, in turn, became a business owner that made enough money where he didn't have to work. But y'all keep saying they're up-and-coming phenoms. No, they took the time, stayed on the water every day, and learned the one technique that trumps all other techniques. I don't hear anybody saying that Ish Monroe is the best fisherman out there because he throws a frog better than anybody else. That's a technique. Instead, we're acting like these kids are phenom because they mastered one technique. Do they know others? Yes. Is it even close to the way it used to be about learning a bunch of different techniques and being good with a bunch of them? Absolutely not. They are master of live scope. And you know what? Kudos to them. But stop acting like anybody can make it when you have to be part of that perfect storm of time, effort, money, network, and a network to get sponsorships because you ain't got social media presence. Then we get into live scope, and people are like, well, a lot of people just blow it out of proportion. If it's that good, why ain't it helping everybody? It is. It brought the average up probably 3 times what the average was. There are people that didn't catch 5 to 6 pounds on average that are now catching 15 or 16 pounds every time they put the boat in the water because of live scope. That's why you got more people fishing, is because some bitches that couldn't catch them in the wintertime because they didn't know how, now they can go catch them in the wintertime because all they got to do is shake a minnow in front of them, throw an A-rig at them. That's it. That's why there's more people fishing. And yeah, it's good for the business side of the fishing world. It is not, however, good for tournament participants, co-angler participants, any of that other shit that actually gets money into the tournament side of the bass fishing world. Great for bait sales. And you want to talk about the major tours not getting viewership. Nobody watches the major tours that don't fish. There are 90 million people with brackets right now saying if their March Madness bracket works out that never touched a basketball. Never touched a basketball. They watch basketball because it's cool. People that don't fish don't watch MLF or bass. It just don't happen. Y'all wonder why viewership's down. It's all because the bass fishing world has sold people a pipe dream for so long. And the more people that figure it out and go, hey man, it ain't possible for me to make it to do what them guys do. I'm just going to go fishing. To hell with watching it. I can't be like one of them guys. I used to think I could be one of them guys. I ain't got the time or the money, because right now it's ridiculous the amount of money it takes to do what people do in the fishing world, but they still somehow do it. So before you want to get on here and say, you're just a hater because you don't like live scope. Maybe you're just a beneficiary from it and want to take up for it instead of just telling the truth and being like, hey man, I used to catch 8 pounds. Now I catch 18. Y'all are too proudful though, and you want to go, no, I'm just as good as that next guy. You're not. You're absolutely not. You're good with live scope. But the minute that bitch goes out, head on back to the ramp. It just is what it is. Nobody's a phenom. They're a master of that technique, and they've made it. But so are other people, too. Phenoms happen once in a while. They don't happen 8 times in a year. It just is what it is, and the fishing world's changing. And before you ask why there's so many problems in the fishing world, ask what changed it to get there. Let's throw this in here, too, before somebody jumps in these comments. Just because you're on the BPT or the Elite Series.
Okay, guys, that was a true reality check. No lies detected in that video there. That guy hit it just square on the head there, exactly what's going on here. And it's good to see people out there that are aware of the situation here. Now, one of the things about this is not a complaining video. That, you know, the guy, Craig Johnson, I guess that's his name, that did that video. That is something that needs to be said, because he's trying to draw attention to what's wrong, to improve the situation. And that's one of the things we do here on the channel here. We do not complain. We draw attention to problems within the industry and offer solutions to it. So I want to comment a little bit on what he said in that video, how true it is. Now, this is why what he said is completely true, is about how we have got to a point in the sport where it's basically an elitist sport, and it's like skills are not rewarded, and traditional bass fishing, you know, knowledge is not rewarded. Okay, now here's the difference between when bass fishing was great and when it was now. When I started out wanting to be a tournament angler, guys, I did not come from any money whatsoever. I had to work part-time jobs, washing cars, you know, bussing tables, washing dishes, doing anything I could to make enough money to put gas in my little beat up 14 or 16 foot flat bottom with an old 9-horse motor on it. And I spent 3 years saving up enough money, working part-time jobs, going to school to pay for my first year on the Bassmaster Invitationals in 1986, which was back then, that was $600 per tournament. So, you know, it cost $3,600 for your entire season entry fees, and that was the pro circuit. So I worked for 3 years to save up enough money, and I was able to do it. I was able to make the Bassmaster Classic my first year, and one thing led to the next, and I was able to forge a career through professional fishing. You can't do that now. There's no way. It's like, this was back when I was in my early 20s, and if you're a typical, you know, kid in the United States where your parents, you know, are middle class, they don't have a lot of extra money, they pay their bills, they keep food on the table, they don't have money to buy their kids $100,000 boat and give them $50,000 a year for entry fees. Excuse me. It's not the same situation. So from how I got started back in 1986, where I worked my way up and it was doable, you can't do it now. How is a 20-year-old kid going to go out and buy an $80,000 truck and a $100,000 boat and slap down $100,000 in entry fees and expenses to fish the top level circuits? You can't do that anymore. That's why we have transitioned the sport into an elitist sport. Professional bass fishing is a financial elitist sport. I'll argue that with anybody out there. I don't know anyone out there, unless they are independently wealthy or have some type of business that they've started, that are able to fish professionally. The days of people like myself that didn't have any money being able to climb the ladder yourself to get up there, those days are over as far as fishing the top level circuit. And just what Craig was saying in this video about live scope, guys, I've been talking about for years about live scope is a fake avenue to success. It's an umbilical cord to success that is completely dependent upon artificial electronic technology for that success. And that doesn't mean if you take that live scope away from somebody that they can't throw a frog up on a mat, or they can't throw a worm up underneath the dock and catch a fish. That's not what I'm talking about. The success that they have had that enabled those people to, make a living in the sport or gain some notoriety, 99.9% of the time, especially the people that have come on the scene over the last 5 or 6 years, is a direct result of forward-facing sonar. There's no doubt to that reality whatsoever. So he makes some really good points, that are just some really good down-to-earth points on that. So anyway, where does it go from here? I mean, it's the thing about it. I mean, that's the problem that we have, and that's the dilemma we have in the sport, is the fundamental face and the fundamental, identity of bass fishing, tournament bass fishing, has been destroyed through forward-facing sonar. It's not the same. And a lot of these organizations have doubled down on that. They've doubled down on this destruction of the sport through the technology, through the financial elitism, and it's going to take a management change within the organizations to change this. That's the only thing that can change it. Because, like I said, if I was to win the lottery, guys, and I offered Bassmaster an offer they can't refuse for the organization, I'd get in there and I'd freaking clean house on everything. I would take it back to 1985, and it would be better than it's ever been before, and I would ensure the tradition and the heritage of the sport. So until these organizations are taken over by people that have a respect for the heritage of the sport and a sense of history and some critical thinking skills, and not kowtow to the electronic companies' invested interests, we're going to continue having this problem. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll check in later.